Yeah. Never dispose of the pen, I'm at it again, we close to the end. The older I get, emphatic I am. They try to pretend, they try to be friend, wreak havoc instead. Look at the trends, can't comprehend my dramatic ascent. I'm heavenly sent, they try to condemn. Ladies and gentlemen, I am the man. Yeah, different vision but the same goes. Big collision off the main road, that's the beaten path where my brain goes. Felt the devil's wrath off my halo. Hella stones, no Thanos. Hella gold, no rainbow. This is hella genius in my brain lobes. Hella gross as far as revenue goes. Bought me a net for these Benjamins though. You not a threat, you an enemy though.
What up, fam? Welcome to the Q&A.
Hardly upset, but you testing me though. All of these
oh, Holly, you're going back in the archives, number 4.
Drones and them perks is my medicine though. There's no comparison. Black in America, little too arrogant. I just embarrass y'all niggas irrelevant. I shouldn't mention it. That's royal etiquette. Out of my element, way too intelligent. Grab you a therapist, sending my sentiments. Next full of sentiments. Caught me a Tesla and skirt through the valley. Drop the investment in Silicon Valley. All this cake, but I'm missing the patty. Might mess around and just move to Miami. Drums are so loud that they breaking the chassis. King of the grass like I'm Lionel Messi. I am not crass, but my mental is messy. Mud in my glass while my pencil is sketching. All these rappers, but no one impressed me. Most of them actors at labels is testing.
We're getting ready to get all these questions from Instagram. Of course, are we doing some questions elsewhere as well? I'll be taking live stuff too. Just loading this shit up. Loading this shit up. All right, cool. Well, you better ask them multiple times. If it's not on the post on Instagram, it's gonna be hard to get to. I got a lot of questions to go through.
Yeah. Never dispose of the pen, I'm at it again, we close to the end. The older I get, emphatic I am. They try to pretend, they try to be.
I wish I could take credit. It's not bulletproof coffee, it's not my concoction, but I like it.
I'm heavenly sent, they try to condemn. Ladies and gentlemen, I am the man. Yeah, different vision but the same goes.
I did not create
collision off the main road, that's the beaten path where my brain goes. Felt the devil's wrath off my halo. Hella stones, no Thanos. Hella gold, no rainbow. This is hella genius in my brain lobes. Hella gross as far as revenue goes. Bought me a net for these Benjamins though.
Do it.
You not a threat, you an enemy though.
Facials.
Killing enemies.
Fitness without the bullshit.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Testing. Testing, testing, testicles, testicles. Welcome everyone to episode 954 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular swolecast, beardcast, broadcast, gangcast, mancast, pimpcast, sleevescast, slaycast, and taintcast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. What is going on, you sluts and beaches, you filthy, filthy whores? You filthy whores, you're a whore for the swole, aren't you? You're a whore for those gains. You're a stupid slut for those gains, aren't you? Aren't you? I know you are, otherwise you wouldn't be here. Welcome to the Daily Swole. Welcome to 954 Sunday Swole Q&A. On the board behind me, of course, it's the Q and Sleazy. You know, you guys know where it's at. And those of you that are joining live, Facebook, Instagram, Periscope, YouTube, Twitch, and of course, podcast peeps. What up? What up, Apple? What up, iTunes? What up? Who else listens in there? Spotify, all those peeps. Remember, you can go to swolenormousx.com. You can check out workouts, nutrition on the Gain Train blog. You can subscribe to the podcast, all at swolenormousx.com. Make sure that you subscribe, get the latest, go back, listen to some. This past couple weeks have been great with episodes, a lot of cool content. And another thing that I've been doing, or that I'm going to be doing, and in the Gain Train blog, which is great because a lot of the articles and the workouts are very contextual around certain episodes. So you're going to get some embedded podcasts, so you can go catch some previous episodes, some throwbacks. I'm also considering posting some throwback episodes on the list, kind of like, maybe Throwback Thursday, repost something, that's on the same podcast subscription. That way you get some old episodes in there too, because I know it only feeds so many. So that would be a great way for you all to hear some kind of classic throwback episodes. If you're down for that, might do a poll and see what's up with that. And also on my Instagram, I'm doing some, swipe ups in my story for some throwback episodes, maybe something you missed this past week, because I know you get a lot of stuff thrown. You got a lot of balls in your face during the week. You get a lot of balls in your face. You get a lot of balls from everyone. Everyone on Instagram's, putting their balls in your face. I want my balls to be the biggest and the juiciest and the most swollen. So I'm going to try to keep doing that. Smashing some Romanian deadlifts as you speak. Oh my goodness. Oh my, how are you smashing RDLs and typing at the same time? You better get your fucking head in the game, Kyle. I do appreciate it. I don't know. I'm torn, bro. I'm torn whether or not to be like, awesome, bro. Thanks for tuning in. And I'm torn between that and saying, get the fuck off my live cast and go train, yabish. No, I want you to stay. As long as you're commenting, it's good. Between sets, how about doing your rest periods, okay? All right. Ooh, Shane Vest, that gain train arm and shoulders is no joke. Nice. How many of you have tried some of the workouts? I'm going to be posting a new workout. I said I was going to do it yesterday. I'm going to try to do it today. A new leg workout on the gain train. So it's a way for you all to get workouts completely free. You'll get some little training gifts and some things that can get you started, because a lot of you ask, what do I do, or what's a good place to start? What's a good workout? So you're going to get some additional content there. So highly recommend checking out. There's new articles, new stuff coming every couple days. And, a lot of great feedback. A lot of you have been mentioning that it's been really helping. You've been putting it into practice. So I'm glad that you're enjoying it. Oh, shoulders today. How many of you were pumping today? I just got back from leg day. Bye. This is bad. See ya. Bye-bye, Instagram. Get the fuck out of here, ya bitch. I love it. Bye. This is bad. Of course it's fucking amazing. You must be a fat piece of shit if you don't like the Daily Swole. That's official, you lazy bitch. Get the fuck off. Go watch Netflix. Go. Shoo. Scram. We don't need you. All right, Q&A. So today's Q&A is from the feed. I'm just going to post it up here. If you're not following me on Instagram, you got to follow me on Instagram at Swolenormous, and I post in the feed so you can post your questions. And we have a lot of questions to go over. So I'm taking live questions too. Just a reminder that they disappear on Facebook. They'll disappear after a little bit. So I'm going to try to get to them, the live ones, but I have a lot of them here posted. So it's important that you follow me on Instagram. That way you can drop your comment, because the first ones that are posted are the ones that I'm going to go over first. Okay. And I'll try to answer as many as possible. If they're bullshit questions, we'll joke about it and then we'll move on. But I want to give as much value as I possibly can. And as I said in the pre-roll here on the podcast, this is for you. And I really appreciate your attention. I appreciate all the support with the podcast. I appreciate the growth and the growing community, because you all are amazing. You're amazing. Most of you are here every fucking day. You're always commenting, you're always sharing, you're always tagging people, and you're really engaged with the content. I get a lot of DMs and a lot of support. So I want to say thank you. And really every week, I'm always answering questions during the podcast during the week, but sometimes I'm on like a rage tip and I just fucking rage, and that's the episode. So I don't get to a lot of your questions, but I like to dedicate one episode a week where it's just me answering every single specific thing that you want. So that's what we've been doing every single Sunday, and it's been hugely successful. I think it's been amazing, because a lot of you get questions answered that you might not have even known to ask. So I think that's really important too. Sometimes you'll hear something, oh shit, I never thought about that. So it's a great way. You never know what you're going to get. You never know what is going to come out of my mouth. You never know what people are going to ask. So it's kind of like a grab bag. So if you enjoy the Sunday Funday Q&A, drop some biceps in the comments. Let me know. Drop some hearts. Fucking hit that shit. And I'm going to get to as many as I possibly can. And I'm going to get to as many live ones as I possibly can. I'll try to do back and forth if I see one. If I'm in the middle of a comment, you might want to pop it up twice. Let's see. Do I have a cheat meal at all? I don't really think of anything as cheat meals. I try to eat the food that's best for me. Rarely. I mean, my cheat meals are usually healthy in most people's eyes. People are like, "Holy shit, that's healthier than I eat." For me, my food is so fucking delicious. My food is my cheat meal. How do I motivate myself to work out? I don't even consider motivation a factor. I just go and do it. It's discipline. You might get amped up to go to the gym. It's not going to last. Don't worry about getting amped up. Just go and do it. I like the results. I like getting fucking shit done. So I go. I don't think about being motivated. In fact, I talked about it yesterday, the day before. When you're not inspired or motivated to go to the gym, that's when you should go. Reverse that. Make the lack of motivation your motivation, if that makes sense. It should make sense, but it's not easy to do. But once you do that, it becomes less of an issue, and you don't have to worry about depending on motivation, because that's an emotion. You're going to feel like it some days, you're going to feel like it, not going to feel like it most days. Doesn't matter. Either you worked out or you didn't. Either you did your yoga or you didn't. Either you ate the foods that you should have or you didn't. It's binary. It's 1 or 0. Either you did it or didn't. So feeling like it really doesn't have that much of an effect. It really doesn't have that much of an effect. Papa is 8 sets of legs after I work out too much. What the fuck does that mean? 8 sets of legs after you work out? You mean, isn't that the workout? I don't get the question. Curious Swole, how did you obtain so much knowledge about human anatomy and physiology? Well, let me give you a little background. I have a degree in exercise science. I've held every top certification. I taught the NASM certification for 4 years. I taught anatomy, kinesiology, personal training, corrective exercise, performance enhancement. I taught the 3 major NASM certifications at a vocational school for 5 years. So I prepared people to be personal trainers in the field, to take the to pretty much teach them to be certified, taught them the certification essentially, plus additional 9 months of extracurricular from business to anatomy to kinesiology. I've written a kinesiology course for NASM. I was contracted to write a full course for their online learning program. I was a master trainer for Beachbody and helped bridge P90X and NASM when the P90X certification launched for Beachbody. So I have a lot of experience, and you learn a lot by teaching other people. So that's like a huge part of, being in the fitness industry and sharing it with your friends, your family. It's a huge aspect of learning, because when you teach others, or when you're able to spread your knowledge, you cement it and you learn a lot more. Plus you learn what people want to learn, which is a reason why the Daily Swole is so popular. It's because I know what you need. I know what you're asking, but I know what you need to focus on too. Because I've been in the field, I do it myself. I've taught other people. I've taught other people to teach other people. So I've done all the different levels and shades of this fitness industry. And it's really important to not give you information for the sake of giving you information. Like if I sat here every fucking day and just read a scientific paper, like, oh, this is the research on this. Oh, this, blah, blah. Knowledge and information doesn't do anything. It doesn't help you take action. So not only do I know what is bullshit and what could be good and what's likely bullshit, I know what you need to know in terms of what you need to take action on. That's why a lot of the stuff I'm saying, don't fucking worry about that. Don't worry about that bullshit. Don't worry about that supplement. Don't worry about this. You have to focus on what actually you need to focus on to get the results. So I know what you need to do. I know what you're asking and what you think you want to know, but I also know what you need to know and what you need to take action with. That's why people here and in Swolenormous X get fucking amazing results, because you're focusing on the right shit. The right shit. You're not getting distracted by all the bullshit, which is very easy to do, especially with social media and stuff. 10, 15 years ago, there wasn't as much, so you weren't inundated by all this information. Now you have way too much and you're getting distracted from the important things. Any recommendation books on good nutritional meals? I don't know. Recommendation on books? It's more about the philosophy behind it. Ancient ancestral dieting and stuff, functional medicine, integrative medicine are great books to learn from that. Do you think those dudes and chicks that work out and then party on the weekends make gains or just stall them? Obviously stall them. Obviously. Come on, that's not a real question. Do they make gains? They can make gains. Doesn't mean they're going to be healthy. What kind of a question is that? If you work all week and you drink on the way, of course you're going to stall your gains and affect your progress. Why do you think people do that when they're younger? Because they can get away with it. As you get older, you're not going to be fucking doing stupid shit like that. All right, let me get to the questions that people went out of their way to comment on Instagram. So let me get into this, and I will answer any questions live as quickly as I can, as efficiently as I can, if I'm in a break between questions here. So let's get into it. This is going to be an in-depth episode. It's going to be a longer episode, I'm sure, because I like to try to get to every single fucking question. So bear with me if you have to repeat yourself, but I will try to get to every single one as quickly as I can. All right, from Pinto Don on IG. Been looking to lift again after a long hiatus. Stress fractured both forearms. Ooh, how'd you do that? And I've been leery of lifting. What exercise would you do to strengthen my forearms so it doesn't happen again? I was doing preacher curls when it happened. How the fuck did you get stress fractures in both forearms from doing preacher curls? you're going too heavy, or you moved improperly, or you were recovering properly. How the fuck did that happen? Holy shit. Anyway, yoga. Yoga is the answer for that. I mean, I would improve your mobility and balance. And if you got stress fractures doing preacher curls, I really need to have more information on that because that's ridiculous. And your recovery needs to be much improved. My goodness. Ouch. All right. Next question from Oliver. I love to work out in the morning, but I work a labor intensive job. I'm curious if lifting then beating myself up at work will hinder my body's recovery. I do either yoga or mobility every night. It's hard to say. If you're getting enough recovery and you're sleeping and you're doing active recovery, you're doing a lot better than people that aren't doing any kind of yoga or mobility. Not to mention, if you're doing labor-intensive job, your body does adapt to that. Just because it's labor-intensive doesn't mean your body is getting overloaded. So progressive overload is what stimulates growth from training. When it comes to your job, it's repetitive. It might be intensive, but your body will adapt to it. Let's say you're a garbage man or you work construction. You're doing the same shit all the time. You're not doing like, whoa, progressively over. You're not using a heavier sledgehammer or you're not wearing a weighted vest of all of a sudden. You're just doing the same shit. It's very intensive, but your body adapts to it. So as long as you're balancing it out, it shouldn't hold you back. As long as you're getting enough calories in, as long as you're resting enough, as long as you're doing your active recovery so you're not getting stiff and getting repetitive movement injuries, your body will adapt to your intensive job. So for example, I don't do an intensive job like that all day, but if I did at the beginning, I'd be like, oh my God, I'd be fucking aching and sore, but then you adapt to it and then you just make it a part of your body becomes it's like a new normal for your body. JM Finelli, what is a good meal plan on a budget to gain mass? I don't really go by a budget in terms of, because then when you go on a budget, you start looking at the wrong shit. And that's what a lot of people try to do. They try to, I need to save money and eat. You know what you're doing on a budget? You're eating shittier food. So what people use as a budget, as an excuse, I don't have a lot of money, so they eat crappier food. You are going to save money by getting things like grass-fed beef. It might look more expensive at $6 or $7 a pound, but you're getting more nutrients. You're getting more caloric value, so you're eating less of it. Plus, sweet potatoes at the supermarket, yesterday, were 59 cents a pound. So for me, you don't really need a big budget to eat quality food. Plus broccoli or vegetables, it's not expensive when you're eating quality nutrients because you're not eating the same kind of volume that you're going to eat from fast food or chips and processed things that are going to give you those sugar crashes. So you can eat higher fats, higher fat quality content, and you're going to be more satisfied. So I don't think you really need to worry about the budget aspect. I think you still need to focus on eating the right shit because that's going to help with your health long term. It's going to keep you off medication. It's going to keep you more satisfied in terms of what you're eating. Let's see. What do I think about sushi? Aside from the MSG, I don't know. I mean, I kind of sometimes get a headache if I have sushi. I have it rarely. I love sushi, but it's usually the artificial colorings and stuff that make the biggest difference. Farmed salmon and farmed crap like that, which is not good. John Crop 80, trying to lose 20 pounds, but haven't been eating clean. Going to try to eat more chicken, fish, and beef. Is cutting out grains and dairy needed? Yes. And if you're trying to lose 20 pounds, but haven't been eating clean, you're answering your own question. Elimination. Cut it out. Hey, how are you doing? My first time. Welcome, Hunter. Let's see. Abdil, I lost my job last year and you told me to hold on and look forward. And I did land a better job. Thank you. You're welcome. Good for you. Diane Barrow live on Facebook. Hey, Papa, I have a tear in my bicep and my doctor only wants me to do rehab type exercises on that arm for 8 weeks. Do you have any workout suggestions I should be doing while healing? Well, if you're asking me to verbally on the record go against your doctor's orders, I'm not going to do that. So listen to your physician, abide by that. And when you're cleared for doing things like yoga and mobility, then you can start that. When you're cleared, so you can talk to your therapist or your physician. Unfortunately, they are the ones that have to give you the go-ahead legally. So that's because I don't know all the details. They do. I'm not saying that doctors and therapists are the experts completely and everything that they know or whoever you're talking to is the rule and the golden rule. But mobility is always going to be the number one thing that you should be focusing on after you're cleared for doing exercise. People get out of these injuries and then they just start crushing weights again. They jump back into what they were doing before. That's a problem because you're not the person you were before. You have to build back up to it. So it's mobility, it's range of motion. a tear in your bicep. Once you're cleared, it's going to be scapular mobility. It's going to be thoracic mobility. It's going to be making sure that your posterior rotator cuff and everything is stabilizing the shoulder because your body has been guarding and limiting motion for a while because of your injury. It's going to be making sure that your glutes are activated, you have core integrity, all those things that you need to be focusing on because you've been moving improperly because you have a bicep tear. You've been shielding it, moving differently. So that's going to come into play. Never trust farmed fish, especially from Asia. Okay. Yeah, avocados. Avocados can be really cheap. Okay. Glenham cheese. Where would you like to see yourself or your brand in 5 or even 10 years? I like to keep that close to the chest. I have my own idea, my own vision. So I'm planning on definitely building out, but I'll give you this general overarching concept because I didn't know where I would be today from 2 years ago. And I'm still formulating that vision, reformulating that vision and kind of like refining it. And it's going to be more towards what I'm doing now, but even more so growing and cultivating this community and the people within it. So it's very, very people and you oriented. So I'll keep that in my back pocket, but yeah, I know where I'm going. Daddy knows. Dollface. Ooh, I like this. This is one of the best screen names ever on Instagram. Ready for this? Dollface McSuckit. Dollface McSuckit. That's a great fucking name. I'm 50 years old, have never truly put myself first. Kids are moved out and I have the time and I've joined a gym. Are personal trainers worth it and for how long? Ooh. Oh, that's a dirty question. That's filthy. That's straight from the taint. All right. You're 50 years old, so you're putting yourself first. You've joined a gym. Are personal trainers worth it? Tough to say. It depends on the personal trainer. Okay. I can go really down that rabbit hole. It depends. It depends on the trainer. I couldn't tell you because some trainers are fantastic. Some are absolute fucking jokers. It's good if you've joined a gym to show you how to do the exercise. Again, if they know what they're doing, it's good. If they don't know what they're doing, it's bad. So it's important that you have a very, very high quality person who knows their shit. In all honesty, and this is not coming from, this is just coming from a real place. There's a lot of people that don't know what the fuck they're doing. I don't care what kind of certification or what kind of degree they have. So as long as you're plugged in here and you're listening to what we're talking about, you can check out the Gain Train blog on my website because I have exercise demos and workouts and I'm doing a lot of content. So, you can cross-reference and check and see if it's congruent. You can ask your trainer questions. If, anytime you hire someone like that, anytime you hire a trainer, what most people don't do is they don't get referrals. They don't get references. They just go into a gym. Oh, this is a trainer. He has he has trainer on his shirt, so he must know. Why don't you get some testimonials? Why don't you ask for references? And if they don't have references, then you don't want to be with that person. If they don't like instantly, oh yeah, sure, I'll send you a list. I'll send you a couple numbers. A lot of people are like, wait, what? That's not someone who you want to do business with, So you want to have some good feedback. But yeah, a hard question to answer. Do you squat high bar or low bar? I prefer low bar. It's better on the back. You get more glute activation. You get more drive, more power. And definitely, as long as you're doing a squat, don't go so low where your butt winks. We get that little lumbar tuck. Most people don't have enough mobility in their ankles or hips to do a proper low squat. So actually, one of those little tweaks is, obviously, you might need a video. It's great to video yourself to see how low you're going. But a lot of people think when it comes to mobility, it's in the hips. A lot of it is in the ankles. And if you wear sneakers all the time with elevated heels, ladies, if you wear high heels, you're limiting your ankle mobility. So you go to the gym and people go to the gym and the only time they wear their flat shoes or their minimalist or their Vibrams or something, they go to the gym and they do squats. They take off their shoes. They squat in socks. For most people, that's a terrible fucking idea. For most people, when they do deadlifts and they do things, they go to the gym. I don't know why people do this. They do their deadlifts in fucking socks. It's like, get some real shoes that have some grip. Why are you doing it in socks? I don't understand. It's fucking weird looking. These are people that have tight calves, that have limited range of motion in their ankles. And instead of working on that regularly and wearing neutral shoes all the time and working on their ankle mobility, they go to the gym and they take off their shoes. And now there's a lot of tension because their Achilles tendon is now under tension, being lengthened for the first time in a while. Because now when you're doing this dynamic strength movement, all of a sudden you're going to try to lengthen that muscle. So that's not the time and the place to look at mobility. You have to be working on ankle mobility regularly. And if you improve that, you'll get a lot more dorsiflexion. You get a lot more tracking forward with the shin, and you'll be able to get a lot lower in a squat without that hip tuck. So don't just work on hip mobility, work on ankle mobility too. Mallory Gafford on the IG. What do you do when you make sick fucking gains? Dum, dum, dum. All right, a little Wonder Years action. Mallory Gifford, what do you do when a stranger comes up to you in the gym offering fitness advice, but clearly has no idea what he's talking about? Keep your headphones in, nod, and be like, shamalaki, fumpaka, ishita, and then go back to your workout. Just don't speak English. No, be like, look and nod and be like, okay, and then go back to doing what you're doing. If they clearly have no idea what you're talking about, be courteous and move on with your workout. If they do it again, just be like, hey man, I'm working out. Please don't interrupt me. And that's it. Wear a hat, put your headphones in, pretend not to speak English, which is easy in this country nowadays. Like, you don't have to speak, no one speaks English anymore. What do you think should be done to combat the fat acceptance movement? More of the same shit, just more people speaking out against it. I mean, everyone's worried about what people are going to think. That's why podcasting and doing your own content on it. A lot of people are afraid to share my content because I say naughty words. Yeah, fuck, shit, bitch, cock, twunt. Like, I'll say anything. It doesn't matter. This is my show, and I love swearing. And people are afraid to share this or share the more in-your-face content because they're afraid of who's going to see it that follows them. I don't give a fuck. I built this company and this brand based on the premise of not giving a fuck what anyone else thinks. So a lot of people are afraid to speak out. They believe it. That's why when I post these things like stop being fat, everyone's like, fuck yeah, and likes the post. And those are the most impactful posts, but you don't see them a lot of places. You get a lot of hand holding and coddling. So you just need more loud voices, more people to share, tag, spread it. And you need more people like me and, what's his name? Alan Roberts over at Every Damn Day Fitness on YouTube is really vocal about it as well. So there are people out there that are running their mouths and, being a voice against it. But it's kind of like you versus the world. So it's important to speak your mind. Now you have the ability to speak your mind. I don't have to worry about getting fired. Fired from who? If you all like what I put out, then that's all that matters. So I'm doing my content for myself and for you. I don't care what anyone else says. And I don't care about any social media platform. I don't need Facebook. I don't need Instagram. I don't need any of this shit. I have members. I have my own site. I have my own podcast. I'll be doing this wherever the attention goes. Wherever everyone's using, I will be putting out the same shit. We're not stopping. We're not going anywhere. So that's what has to happen. People have to stop worrying about what other people think. What are your thoughts on cryotherapy? I think the research is good on it. I haven't done a lot of it myself, but a lot of that stuff is cool. Those are my thoughts on it. I don't really have a formulated opinion. I haven't tried it, but I think it's good. I think it's good shit. It makes sense. Natural reductions of inflammation, testosterone, I think improvements, things like that. But, you have to have access to it. You have to pay for it. So it's not like it's free. I guess you could jump in an ice bath. I'm not sure if it's the same kind of thing as one of those like extreme freezing cryo chambers, but haven't tried it personally, but I've heard a lot of good things. Let's see. Jody live on Facebook. I have a home gym with a bench and free weights from 10 to 40 pounds, also a barbell and easy bar. Is that enough or do I need the machines in a gym? No, you don't need machines. Absolutely not. Free weights are fine. Free weights are fine. Absolutely. Absolutely. Free weights are fine. TrevZim10, would you consider protein supplements to be okay and beneficial? Or would you prefer having more eggs or meat, for example, to hit protein needs? Most people don't need as much protein as they think. You don't need a gram per pound of body weight. That's a lot of fucking protein. So would I consider them to be okay? It depends on what you mean by okay. A lot of proteins have heavy metals in them because of processing. And a lot of times they have artificial sweeteners. People have allergies to whey and issues with the content. People have issues with the vegan blends and these plant-based proteins that are just getting out of control. People have issues with oats and all these things, and they're sucking down these protein things. And when you see the protein that gets stuck to the side of the fucking container when you're shaking it up, yeah, that's happening in your gut. That's happening in your intestines. And I don't care if it's in a powdered form or not. If you're having If your body doesn't like that product or like the source of where that's coming from, it can be a problem. So you definitely don't need it, but people like to make you think you do. Second part to this question. I know cutting out dairy is huge, but would some butter be okay? You mention it in videos. Butter is different. Butter is, there's a lot less of the inflammatory proteins that you would find in full dairy or pastured dairy. Some people don't have issues with, grass-fed raw dairy, but it's hard to come by. A lot of people don't have access to that kind of stuff. So butter or ghee, Ghee, it's like clarified butter, so there's no casein, I believe. So there's different levels of inflammation or issue. So the best way to figure it out would be to test it on yourself. Eliminate all dairy for 4 to 6 weeks, like the elimination process, and then add it back in and see how your body reacts to it. You might be fine, or you might have violent, oh my God, I'm super intolerant. But a lot of people that have issues, let's say with grass-fed butter, won't have issues with grass-fed ghee because it's completely clarified. So there's different options for getting dairy products, maybe sheep or goat, because the A1 casein, for example, in cows can sometimes cause issues, whereas A2 casein protein might not. So there's different types, and there's benefits to full-fat dairy where it's coming from a good source, as opposed to pasteurized. It's kind of like you're just getting liquid sugar. But, you've been lied to your entire life. Milk, it does the body good. Not really. Not really. What are your thoughts on pea protein? I don't touch it. Doesn't sound like anything I want to have in my body. I don't have any thoughts on it, really. Opinion on the carnivore diet. There needs to be studies and people that actually fucking do it and have not just anecdotal evidence for the carnivore diet. A lot of people see amazing improvements right away from a diet, from a couple months or 6 months, but you need to be on something consistently for a long period of time to really know whether it's good or not. Plus, you have a lot of genetic factors too that we're just discovering that will bias people to maybe metabolizing fats better or eating a certain style of diet better. Papa Swole, do you use CBD for inflammation? I've tried it before. I don't know if I really noticed a difference or not. I mean, I consume a lot of collagen, a lot of bone broth and things like that. So, I mean, I've been sent stuff and I have stuff that I've used. But I don't know. I mean, some people really love it. I just think I have pretty good, really good joints and health integrity. I don't know if it's been noticeable or not for me. Not saying that some of them aren't good, but I've used some CBD stuff and I honestly couldn't say, hey, this is great. There's the placebo effect is something that's more important to me. So your psychological approach, what usually goes overlooked with supplements, and it's not so much whether or not they work physically, but if you think they work, they're going to work. And the mind is so powerful, you realize you don't necessarily need the supplement. You can get your mind to reduce pain and to feel better and to be more optimistic and to heal if you work on the mind. That's why meditation is so powerful. So whether or not CBD is the answer for everyone, it might be. I'm sure there's different qualities, and I've tried it. I don't know. I'm open to it. I'm sure it is good, but I don't know. I haven't taken it and been like, wow, I'm completely different. I haven't had that feeling yet. Let's see here. What do you think about omega-3 supplements? I think if you take a high-quality fish oil, it's very important. High-quality fish oil. I wouldn't do pills. I'd take a liquid. When I talk about supplements, like you don't need, like you got to be careful of fucking supplements. I'm talking about pre-workouts. I'm talking about protein powders. I'm talking about a lot of like the mass-produced shit where you say, oh, look at all these bright colors, blue raspberry, this and the other. When I talk about supplements, I'm not talking about, let's say, super high-quality vitamins or minerals or fish oils or collagen. Like I'm talking, that's different than what I consider supplements. I don't consider those supplements. When I talk about supplements, I'm talking about fat burners. I'm talking about protein powders. I'm talking about pre-workouts and aminos and those types of things that really make up when you go into a health food store, when you go into GNC or Vitamin Shop. Come on, what makes up the majority of it? It's all these fucking big containers, weight gainers. That's what I'm talking about mostly. All right, here we go. Let's do some more questions. Good questions, fam. How we doing? How are we doing? We stand together? We're good? All right, here we go. Extroverted, what is the deadliest lie in fitness? No fucking idea. The deadliest lie? I don't know about deadliest. Like, what's going to kill you? I don't know if there is one. What's the deadliest lie? I think one of the biggest misconceptions is the fact that you should be focusing on macros, calorie counting, and there isn't enough discussion about what you're fucking eating. I think that is right up there with weight training being physical. It's fucking mental as shit. There isn't enough talk about the mental aspect of training, and there isn't enough talk about the quality of the food and what you're consuming versus how much. Because if you focus on what you're eating rather than how much you're eating, and you say fuck with the measuring and the micromanaging and the counting and the macros, and you focus on literally what you're eating, your body is going to learn a lot. It's going to reduce a ton of inflammation. You're not going to have to micromanage it. It's going to be much easier to calculate. It's going to be much easier you're going to feel so much better. You're going to be more adhesive to what you're eating because your body responds to it. That's the key. So those two things. James Bertrand on YouTube. I recently used your recipe for bone broth as a base for a French onion soup, and it was freaking awesome. Ooh, fancy, James. Send me a message. Email me or send me something somewhere, James. Let me know what your recipe was for the rest of it. I'm curious. Cool. All right, next question. Very good. I should probably already know this. Benefits of cardio fasting. Nothing more than doing cardio unfasted. That's pretty much been debunked. I mean, if you're working out super early in the morning, I wouldn't recommend eating and then going and doing cardio. But if you wake up and you're doing a cardio workout like fasting, it's fine. It's not gonna be like, whoa, I did it fasting and I'm gonna lose so much more fat, or I'm gonna lose. It's not really. I'm gonna skip this question because it's very vague. The most optimal way to train? There is no optimal way. You can come at fitness from so many different angles. And you're saying splits, full body. It depends. I've done a lot of content on frequency and volume. Just so you know, there's been a bunch of episodes recently, last 2 weeks, on frequency and volume and training splits, so you can go check those out. The fuck was that? Why shouldn't women do intermittent fasting? There's nothing that says that they shouldn't. Long term, sometimes it can cause some issues. I'm not sure if that's consistent across everyone. I think people put too much pressure on, like, oh, intermittent fasting, I'm not eating breakfast. You're just not eating for a couple extra hours. So it's not like it's required. But on an evolutionary level, women are designed to nest, have children, and stay at home, in the tent and care for the children. And the men are designed to go out and hunt. That's why women are better at multitasking, doing multiple things at once. And guys are better at focus and physical strength because they go out and hunt and kill, and they focus on the prey. It's very, very ancient evolution. So doesn't mean that some people can't. Doesn't mean that some women aren't awesome at intermittent fasting. Doesn't mean that some guys aren't great at multitasking. Then there's the individuality. We're talking about the general bell curve. And that's probably a lot of there's probably a lot of science there. It's also common sense, I would think, and just observation, in my opinion. So it's not like I'm quoting studies, but that's just really what it just seems to me. Keller Trenton, do you think it's better to eat when you feel hungry and only eat until you feel satisfied? Neither of it matters unless you're eating the right foods. So that you have to start there. What are your thoughts on the hypertrophy coach? My dumbass nephew seems to think you and him on the what? On the what, Mark? On the thoughts on the, I have no idea what you're talking about. So no clue what you're talking about. Sorry, man. Jacob P89, I've heard you talk about your pre-workout before. What kind do you take? I don't. Actually, someone just I got a gift, actually. I just do like fucking tons of coffee. Someone just got me one that, as a gift, that's supposed to be like super, super natural. And it's like all like beet powder and all this stuff. And it tastes like fucking asshole. But I'm going to try it and then see. I'm curious. Because it actually looks like, wow, there's really not that much. Usually just pumped full of chemicals. Sometimes I'm in the mood and I'll just take a sample or something that I have, but I really don't like to. Hypertrophy coach, I've never heard of him or whatever that is, Mark. So no opinion whatsoever on that. Never heard of him. Do you recommend any other workout supplements? I would recommend a high quality fish oil. You can take things like collagen. I mean, if you do any kind of like multivitamin, it has to be something that's, really food based. But honestly, if you're worried about supplements, look, 999,000 out of a million people don't have their food locked down, haven't done elimination, haven't really figured that out. So chances are you need to go back to the drawing board and make sure you're eating, if you're eating animal products, you're eating 100% grass fed, you're getting in plenty of good fats, fish oil, right? With your omega-3s, you're getting in, bone broth is fantastic. You're eliminating all processed foods, all processed grains, dairy, all that shit. You're getting rid of all the sugar, all the junk. Then you can start poking around. Oh, we're getting to this stuff, huh? Cess watercolor. Do you believe in eating for your blood type? Hasn't that been debunked? Isn't that kind of like BS? I think you should be eating for genetics. I don't know if blood type if that's been proven, or I think that was kind of like a foofy book, as do I recall. I don't really pay attention to that much stuff. I think genetics have much bigger of a role than just your blood type. Maybe any kind of correlations they use with the blood type is really based on genetics that people didn't have information for yet, because I believe that was written a long time ago. But now we're coming out with, we're really getting into the epigenetics and with all those things. So I think that's going to be more information. If you could give one piece of advice to fitness newbies, what would it be? To figure out what foods work best for your body. Stick to the basics. Oh, and it's going to take you years if you want to see progress. And that's just the fact. Yeah. Don't get caught up in the supplement game. Focus on your food, what you're eating. Shooky, what is your opinion on blood flow restriction training? That sounds counterintuitive and unhealthy. How are you supposed to get nutrients to the muscles you're working on? Blood flow resistance is just to cause like ischemic pressure and stimulate, I guess, greater blood flow after you release it. I don't know all the details behind it, but people have been getting results plenty for decades without using tourniquets on their muscles. I think that's the kind of thing that high level athletes, high level bodybuilders, high level anything, once they've peaked, mastered, developed, cultivated muscle for decades, that you should be playing around with, maybe to break plateaus or to get that little extra edge. But the problem is that kind of information sifts down to the average person. Like, oh, I'm going to get huge. Let me tie off my arm. You got to focus on the fucking basics. That's not going to make that much of a difference if you're not eating right and sleeping right and training fucking hard. What, to tie off your arms? Not a fan. Never did it. Never. I don't plan to. So I don't care if there's good research on it. I don't really know anything about it. But people get really fucking wrapped up in these extra things that are new. Everyone loves a new thing. Everyone loves a new gimmick. And it doesn't mean that it doesn't work. But I'll tell you what, it's not going to replace all the other fucking things that people don't have in place already. People get really distracted by all this shit. Big Zooty, being a former fat guy myself, have you ever been fat? I mean, truly fat. No, I haven't. I've been portly, or because I ate too much, I bulked too much. But no, I've never let myself go because I've always been into exercise and fitness since I was younger. I've always been active. I don't mean like, I was obese at 400 pounds. I ask this because I wonder if people who never were truly fat understand the mindset and the struggle of a truly fat person. I think that's a crock of shit, to be honest. You don't have to be fat to fucking understand how to create discipline. You don't have to jump off a cliff to know you're going to die. You don't have to have kids to understand responsibility and effort and you don't need to be fat to know how to fucking change it. In all honesty, you need to fucking be in shape to know what it takes to fucking stay in shape, to how to get, that's because people make that argument. Well, you've never been fat. You don't understand. Goddamn fucking right. Because I've been taking care of my body my entire life. So that's what I say to people that would try to use that argument. Not that you are making an argument. But there's, some people aren't taught properly by their parents. Some people don't have that kind of exposure to sports or to physical activity when they're young enough, when they're impressionable enough. You see that in the supermarket where you have fat families and fat kids, and their supermarket or their fucking shopping cart is filled with crap. So no, I have never let myself get extremely obese. And I don't think you have to be extremely obese to have the perspective and to understand what it takes to be healthy. Quite the opposite. You should be doing the opposite. So In your opinion, are there any good DVD workouts worth the money? I have not used a DVD in the longest fucking time. I don't even have a DVD player. So no idea. Everything's digital now. So if you're looking for real fucking training, SwoleNormousX.com. Shameless plug. My fucking site is the best shit you'll find online. And you don't need DVDs. You just look at it on your phone or your TV. Bam. JHD9201. I want to know if your thoughts on training has changed from your first 100 daily swoles. But I often wonder if you, while listening, if you still think that way. No, I don't think exactly the same way as I have for the first 100 daily swoles. Absolutely not. I've learned a ton in the past 800 fucking days, just like I hope all of you have. So have my opinions and like what I've done in my private life and in my training, has it changed? For sure. The fundamentals are the same, but I don't eat Sour Patch Kids. I haven't done that for like 2 years. I mean, I've been doing the show for like 2.5. I've gotten a lot more strict, but not strict. I've just eaten a lot more. I figured out a lot more about what best foods are fit my body. So I don't have any of those cravings anymore. I don't have any of those desires, and I want to continuously improve. So my discipline and my dedication has improved 100-fold. So I've learned a lot more. And it doesn't mean that I don't believe or the earlier episodes aren't true or aren't valuable, but absolutely. I think a lot differently, and I've learned a lot, as I hope everyone's learning a lot in the past 3 years. You should look back 3 years and be like, what the fuck was I thinking? Or what was I doing? Or doesn't mean that you don't believe anything. Doesn't mean that at all. Just you develop, you learn, and you're in a new place. Baya Michael, is this training split good? I'm not going to really go into program design, but upper, lower yoga, rest, repeat. Okay. Is a training split good? That's a relative question depending on what you're trying to accomplish and what you're doing in those workouts. So sorry, that's a vague question and I don't know the context of it, my friend. Already answered a supplement question. Let's see. Joe Mustangle. Do you think at the age of 60, you are still able to build some muscle? Abso-fucking-lutely. You can build muscle when you're 90. How much muscle will be relative to your training effort, your base, your testosterone levels and all that stuff, and your nutrition. But abso-fucking-lutely, you can build muscle at 60. No question about it. Don't let that hold you back. You got to get your head in the right place. Reeves Tyler, you have mentioned before that counting calories is not always the way to go. I've always been a calorie counter, so what other ways of measurement do you suggest when determining how much food should be consumed in a day? You misunderstand my approach on nutrition, because the only way to determine how much food you should be consuming a day is to count and is to measure and is to assess if you're gaining weight, losing weight, and such. So my approach to nutrition, when I say stop counting calories, I mean at the base level. Foundationally, you should not be counting calories. If you are really trying to overhaul your nutrition and bust those plateaus, you should be going back to the source, really doing an elimination, focusing on what you need to eat and the best foods for you. And that might take several months, but you go through that, you figure it out. And then if you're trying to gain, you have the foods that you know your body reacts best to, and then you can count, you can calculate, you can try intermittent fasting, or you can try keto, whatever, but you know what foods your body responds to, and then you can increase the calories or decrease appropriately. But when you're eating the right foods, your body will give you much better feedback on when you're full, when you're hungry, and you'll be able to gain and lose easier. So, I mean, you can't learn how to count, learn what you're doing aside from counting. I mean, you can eyeball it, but if you're really trying to get nitty gritty, like I'm trying to pack on muscle, okay, but you should still be eating the right foods, just eat more of them. So it doesn't mean counting doesn't exist or it's not valuable, but that's not the base level of what you should be focusing on. That's not the first rung of the ladder, so to speak. Frankie, what up, Frank? Does snowboarding count as a workout because my quads are juiced? Sure. I mean, it's like isometrics. You're isometric. It's balance, it's stability, it's cardio-ish. So yeah, I mean, it's a workout. It's just not, there's a lot of chaos there too. It's kind of like doing CrossFit or just doing a workout, doing like a HIIT training. Yeah, you're doing like a lot of isometrics, unique. That's why you might go snowboarding or skiing and all of a sudden your fucking Achilles tendons are sore because of the angle that the boots lock you in. Your quads are sore. So it's movement and physical activity like anything else. It's not going to get you yoked though. Hunter, on a side note, what headphones are you using? These are, I don't know, I think Sennheiser headphones. I don't have the model number, but they're super comfortable and light as shit. I wear them for hours and they feel great. Next question, Zach Stinson. Do you listen to music / podcasts while you get a sick pump? If so, what do you listen to? Sure. I usually listen to whatever song amps me up and I listen to that on repeat. I listen to one song and I usually listen to it over and over again. Could be a fucking metal song, could be a fucking, Kid Rock, could be Limp Bizkit, could be something fucking hardcore, could be something like even just more metal. It could be a rap or a good song with a great beat that I just attract to and I'll just put it on loop. Could be a podcast, could be a hardcore history episode. I'll listen to history episodes. Could be a Joe Rogan podcast. It could be any kind of like educational stuff that stimulates me. I'll listen to. Sometimes I listen to my own podcast just to make sure that I'm delivering content and I'm not wasting any of your time. And I'm still, because I like to listen and hear what you're hearing too. Those of you that listen to the podcast. So a lot of times I'll even listen and kind of assess and mentally edit my own podcast, which I usually do. Usually when I'm walking the dog, I'll actually listen at least to the beginning, make sure the sound is right, make sure my sound editing is right, the balance is right, and that the content is good. So I'm usually always listening to my own shit. What do you think of CrossFit? If you're trying to get better at CrossFit, do CrossFit. If you're trying to, it depends on your goal. I'll leave it at that. Bosco, I'd like to request a Daily Swole episode. Beneficial skincare practices like dry brushing, coconut oil and magnesium oil rubs. I'm not going to talk about shit that I either don't care or don't know anything about. Cryotherapy, polar bear dips. Oh, we talked about that already. I don't know. I'm sure there's benefits to it. People respond well to it. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I mean, if you don't have snow, you have to go to one of those places which costs money. So, yeah, I mean, you'd have to go to someone else to beneficial skincare practices, dry brushing. What the fuck is that? So I'm not going to do a Daily Swole podcast episode on something like that. I have no fucking idea what dry brushing is. What, are you just scraping your skin? Now I'm curious. Alpha Omega 001 is, quote, too much cardio a thing or a major issue? Sure. You can overdo lifting. You can overdo cardio. You can absolutely overtrain and do too much cardio. What is your goal? Remember, everyone listening, watching, what is your goal? What is your goal for training? You don't need to do too much cardio if cardio is not the outcome that, if you don't have to do a ton of cardio if the outcome doesn't require it. A lot of people kill themselves because they think they need to fucking do cardio and be dripping in sweat and stay on the fucking elliptical for an hour. It's not necessary for what most people want. Again, if you're going back, that's why the number one thing that newbies need to know, someone asked me, it's the food. What are you fucking eating? People forget, what the fuck are you eating? Are you sleeping right at night? Are you hydrating enough? What the fuck are you eating? It doesn't matter all this other bullshit. If you're eating the wrong foods, you're going to keep that inflammation. You're going to keep that bloating, the joint pain, the migraines, the depression. All these fucking things are related to food. Most people are dramatically underestimating the fucking impact of eating the right goddamn shit. Movie Buff 91. I'm commuting to a new job and it's a little over an hour both ways. Would you recommend yoga twice a day to ease lower back pain? Sure. You could do a little bit of yoga flow, do your glute activation, and I would listen to the Daily Swole both ways. Yeah, you could definitely do yoga or do some glute activation before you get in the car and after. You could bring those little resistance bands. You can do some shit twice a day. That's fine. That's fine. Can you explain the amazing benefits of chlorella and spirulina when added to your diet? No, I couldn't explain that at all. I mean, are they good? Are they bad? I think one or two or both are a complete protein. I don't really know about it. So no, I can't. Like in the moment, I couldn't speak directly on that. Coda Bowers, not a question. Just get that sick pump today, Papa. I sure did, bro. Thank you. Weston Wayne on IG, does nutrient timing mean anything if it's hours past training? For instance, I eat light before I train at roughly 6:30 a.m. and eat breakfast at 8 a.m. Okay, I train at 6:30. lunch around noon, and eat dinner at 4. Okay. Then I get off at night. I'll have a light snack, assuming that my nutrition is checked. Is in check. Does it matter that I clump the majority of my calories into a 9-hour period? No, I think people have really kind of clarified that as a result of intermittent fasting and people really getting across. Here's what I would say about that, because that's really about nutrient timing. Check this out. Your body doesn't start and stop necessarily within a 24-hour period. It's always rolling, right? There is a time-restricted eating window when enzymes are released. It usually lasts about 12 hours. So if you're eating within a 12-hour window, you're not eating excessively late. You're going to digest better. You're not going to overeat as much. You're going to regulate your caloric intake a lot better. But there is no reset button. It's not like you turn off your computer and you boot it back up. You're always moving. So it's not necessarily within a 24-hour window. It's kind of multi-day. So if you're getting into enough calories, it's really day 1, day 2, day 3. It's really overall. So if you have a little bit less caloric intake on one day, and if you up it dramatically and make up for it the next day, you're going to even out more or less over the course of a week. And just think about that. When you stack the weeks, what's your caloric intake over the course of a month? You know, it's not like you're going to starve yourself for 6 days and then binge and eat 15,000 calories on Sunday. That's going to make up for it. But overall, if you're getting in a caloric surplus, you're going to gain. A caloric deficit, you can lose. The more regulated you are, the better. But it's not like in a 24-hour period, all of a sudden your body hits a reset button and it starts from scratch. It's kind of like an always rolling over. It's like rollover minutes or rollover insurance or whatever. It's kind of goes on to the next month or the next day. It's not a hard line, a hard break. So I would recommend that if you eat your food, I would eat it within a general, like a 12-hour window, whatever that 12-hour window is, whatever time of day, but keep it within that period, you know, and that means, you know, coffee, all those things break a fast. So people think, oh, I'm drinking coffee, I'm going to not eat, I'm fasting. You're breaking a fast if you're drinking coffee. If you're consuming anything besides water, your body is releasing enzymes and releasing, you know, it thinks, hey, you know, we're getting nutrients, we're getting things. It triggers that shutdown. You know, you're not fasting, technically not fasting. So as long as overall calories and nutrients is in check, it doesn't matter. I'm not saying it doesn't matter. I'm just saying it's not necessarily a factor. How's that? How's that for vague and kind of pseudo answering? It's going to matter for different people. It could make a huge difference for you, but how would you know? This is where the nutrition game gets really sketchy and iffy when it comes to individual people, because you, not only are you a different person on the inside, your gut biome and everything, from every other person in the fucking world. Your lifestyle is unique. Your psychological approach to training is unique. Your experience is unique. Everything in your life is so unique. It's hard to compare you to what my opinion would be, because if I voice my opinion on what you're doing, it's kind of based on what I do. It's my personal experience, what I've seen from other people, but it's very, very individualized. So how would you know if it doesn't matter unless you've done the opposite? So unless you've eaten regularly or you've done whatever you're comparing it to, you're not going to really know. That's why I keep trying to empower each and every one of you to experiment on yourself. You have to try this shit yourself. Don't think you're going to find every fucking answer in a book or in one of my podcasts. Not every answer is going to be available. A lot of this stuff that you ask me, it's not me skirting an issue. It's not me trying to avoid answering the question. It's literally, you have to fucking try it. I can give you my opinion. I can tell you what may have worked, has worked for other people. Doesn't mean it's going to work for you. And that's just me trying to deliver and consistently deliver fitness without the bullshit. I'm not trying to bullshit you. I'm not going to tell you something that either I don't know about or that might not be true. If I'm not sure, I'll tell you I'm not sure. If I don't know about something, I don't know about something, right? Chlorella and spirulina, I don't know all about that shit. That sounds like, you know, I know those are supplements and they're popular and vegans love that shit. And people always love to put like the green chlorella and all that stuff. And okay, I've taken that stuff before. I feel great consuming organ meats, grass-fed beef, and bone broth, and there's no chlorella and spirulina in there. So I don't know if it's really that great or if it's great for some people and it could be a benefit. Like, who fucking knows, really? Who fucking knows, really? Really, 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 really. People love to speak definitively about nutrition. And when you realize that the gut biome and how your body reacts to nutrients and consumption is so unique, so fucking unique, it doesn't take away, it doesn't make it harder for you. I think it empowers people, or it should. It's a very powerful thing because it puts the ball in your court. I'm literally telling you, and anyone that's listening to the podcast, you have the ability to put all this into practice. You have the ability to test on yourself. You have the ability to figure out what's best, not for me, not what I say, not what some other guy says, but what is best for you by actually testing it and trying it. And the better test you do, the better, the more strict you eliminate certain foods and then try and then see how your body reacts and listen and pay attention and put these things into practice instead of, and this goes for everyone, for every question, instead of just asking every fucking question, what do you think? Forget what I think. Forget what anyone else thinks. What do you think? What do you fucking think about it? What do you think about it? If you take a supplement, okay? If you take a supplement and you feel fucking amazing, let's say you suck down spirulina or whatever it is, and you feel great. How are you going to know anyway? How are you going to know anyway? If I tell you it's great for you, you might take it, think it's great for you, and then you're going to feel great because in your brain, you think you're taking something good. The brain is so fucking strong. Your psychological understanding and that quote placebo effect is what you're going for. So I've said this many, many times with a supplement. If you take something and you think it works, it doesn't matter if it does or doesn't. Like you think it works, it works. If you perceive it to work, it's working. So whether or not it's just straight cornstarch or it's bullshit, how can you can never tell whether it's actually working or whether you think it's working. Bottom line, if it's working, then it's working. You're paying $40. Like, but what's weird is that if you knew that it was $40 of just cornstarch, I'm just sucking down cornstarch. It's bullshit. There's nothing in it. Fuck. Now you know it's just bullshit stuff in it, and now you're mentally it's crap. You're not going to take it because it's not going to work. But if you think it's some magic fucking potion and you take it and you feel energy and I got a sick fucking pump and it's all in your head, you don't know the fucking difference. That's it. That's it. The brain is amazing. That's why if you get control with your meditation, you get control with your understanding of how the body works, and you actually take and invest your time and get your stock into your body, you can find out a ton of shit. It's amazing what the body can do. It's amazing what the mind can do. And we're just scratching the surface. So make sure you are invested to put this effort in yourself. Make sure you're invested in figuring this shit out yourself. Because if you're just looking for an answer, you're going to find some things that might be good, some things that might be always. You're going to find a lot of shit that goes both ways. But I'm more curious about, what do you think? What do you try that you like? I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, you're taking that and you feel fucking great. Well, it's crap. You suck. I might have an opinion, but it's not going to change the fact that you like it or it works for you. That's great. Some people get violently sick when they eat grass-fed beef or they eat just beef, period. So what am I going to say? No, you have to eat it. Obviously, it doesn't work for you. Obviously, it doesn't work for you. So, hold on. I just got to restart IG. Been over an hour. So really, it comes down to, what are you willing to do? What are you willing to put in terms of your effort? What are you willing to do for your self-education? What are you willing to do, and what kind of effort are you willing to put in order to determine what's best for your body? A lot of people won't do it. A lot of people don't care. A lot of people just look for an answer and expect just a result. That's not how it works. Sorry, it's not how it works. You can't just get an answer. We're all very, very different. You have to put this stuff into practice. And when it comes to your individual schedule, your mental approach to training, your experience, your habits, your connection with other people, your family, your relationships, it all matters with your stress. It all matters with your toxic environment. It all matters with your stress management, your sleep. There's so many variables that we ignore. It comes down to, well, I need to get bigger. I need to take a protein powder. I need to get bigger. I need a better supplement. I need this. What about your sleep? No one talks about that. It's not sexy. What about your nutrition? Like eating the real foods. No one wants to do that. I just want a diet. What do I take to get energy? What about proper recovery? What about everyone? Everyone wants to hear a quick fix. Buy this, take this, do this, and you'll get results. That's not how the world works. That's why people are frustrated. That's why there's so much crap out there, because everyone is selling things that they say works. People want that, so they buy that. And they buy that, they get burned because And they blame it on the company, right? You blame it on the supplement. You blame it on the workout. You blame it on the diet program. It's fucking you. It's not the diet program. It's you. You're blaming other people or other things for, oh, that's a bullshit thing, or that's a fake thing, or that's a... Can't blame them. You're the one that fucking bought it. They're going to make things that you buy. If you think that you don't have to buy it, you don't have to buy those fucking fat burners. If everyone stopped buying fat burners, they wouldn't make fat burners anymore because no one would buy them. It wouldn't be good business. But people buy the fuck out of them, so they keep on making them. It's your fault. It's your fault for looking for a quick fix. When you realize that there isn't a quick fix, then the game changes. You have to take the ball back in your court. The ball is in your court. It's always been in your court. Everyone thinks that it's in someone else's court, that someone else has the answer for them. No, you have the answer. You just don't, maybe, you just weren't exposed to this information. You just didn't realize that, oh shit, I have to put in the work and I can figure this out myself. Because you can, and I'm trying to give you the tools in order to do that. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me for episode 954 of the Most Muscular Swolecast, Beercast, Broadcast, Gangcast, Mancast, Pimpcast, Sleevescast, and Slaycast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex. We all flex our biceps. Thank you for joining me for an amazing Q&A. I'll get this up ASAP, so if you missed the beginning part of it, you can catch it everywhere. Remember, swolenormousx.com. You can click on podcasts and check it out and subscribe to your favorite app and find it everywhere. You can check out the Gain Train blog for workouts and nutrition content, articles, and shit like that. And of course, swolenormousx.com is where I also have all my programs, memberships, and masterclasses, full yoga studio, everything, corrective exercises, all the stuff, everything. It's the best fitness platform anywhere. It's the fucking shit. So if you're ready to start and really get your shit together, that's where you should go for all your fitness needs. swolenormousx.com for all the deets. And of course, I'm everywhere, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, everywhere, YouTube, Instagram, all at Swolenormous. Check it out. Hit me up. Love to hear from you. And I'll see you tomorrow for episode 955 of The Daily Swole. Peace, McGee's fam. Deuce Magoose, your boy, Papa Swolio. Out.